Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we continue 2.1 linear motion part 3. I will discuss on linear motion equations. Okay, for linear motion equations, I hope you still remember what we have discussed earlier. It's about definition of this symbol. So we have u initial velocity, v final velocity, a acceleration, t time taken as displacement. So the relationship between all the symbols will produce linear motion equations. So we have 4 equations here. The first one, v equals u plus at, s equals half u plus vt, s equals ut plus half at squared, and v squared equals u squared plus 2as. Do you need to memorize all this? If you can memorize, then memorize. Actually, you can also derive these equations. And in the physics KSSM, so you are required to derive these 4 equations. So in deriving linear motion equation, so you must know how to derive the equation. So we can look at one by one. Okay, the first one, from what we discussed before about definition of acceleration. We have discussed before acceleration is rate of change of velocity. So we have acceleration equals to final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time taken. So by rearrange this equation, so we make it v as a title of equation. Thus we get v equals u plus at. So actually this equation that we get is the first equation of linear motion equations. Okay, now we look at the second one. How can we derive the second equation? By looking at this graph, v against t graph, velocity against t graph, displacement s actually can be determined by area under the graph. Let's say we have this motion where the object started from initial velocity u. At time t, it will reach final velocity v. So area under the graph is this prism. If you know the formula, area of prism, you can use straight away the formula. If you cannot remember, just divide the section to 2 sections. Okay, so you have this one, a rectangle, so area is u times t, and this one is a triangle, area is half times u times v minus u, v minus u times t. So the total area of the graph, of the area under the graph, equals to displacement. Thus s equals to ut plus half v minus u times t. And then you just simplify this total area. Thus you get s equals to half u plus vt. So this one will produce the second equation, okay, for the linear motion equation. So you can try yourself first until you can get the equation. Okay, now next, we have 2 equations already. Now we look at the third one. How we get the third one? Okay, what you do to get the third one is, you take this equation, the first equation, I mark here as 3. So you just substitute this equation into the second equation. This one is second equation. So you substitute 3 into 2. Same thing, you substitute v equals u plus at. So meaning v, you substitute with u plus at and then simplify. Okay, this part. And then you get s equals to ut plus half at squared. So this one is the third equation for linear motion. Okay, now the last one. Okay, from 3 here, or from 1 also can, you make it t as a subject. If you make it t as a subject, you will get t equals v minus u divided by a. And then you substitute this one into equation 2. So s equals u plus v divided by 2t. Okay, so you substitute the t here. Okay, and then you will get this one. And then mathematically you can solve it. You can simplify and then make v as a title. So you get v squared equals to u squared plus 2as. Then you get the fourth equation. Okay, now we have discussed, we have derived linear motion equation. There are 4 equations altogether. So actually you can find this in your textbook. You can go through this one, how to derive it, by referring to the textbook. Same, huh? Okay, now we look at example, how to use the equation. So the tips to solve equation involving linear motion equation, you need to read through the whole question first, and then you need to list down all the values given. Meaning you must be able to identify which one is initial velocity, final velocity, time taken, acceleration, distance or displacement. So once you have listed all, then you can choose the suitable equation, which one can be used to determine the unknown value. Okay, for example, the first one, a school bus moved from rest with acceleration of 2 meters second negative 2 for 5 seconds. Calculate its velocity after 5 seconds. Okay, so start from rest. The word rest here means starting from velocity equals to 0. Meaning initial velocity u equals to 0. So you write down first, u equals to 0 meter per second. And then acceleration, 2 meters second negative 2. So you write down a equals 2 meters second negative 2. For 5 seconds, meaning time taken is 5 seconds. Calculate velocity after 5 seconds. This one will be final velocity. So we want to find final velocity. So if you list down all the information given, you have U, T, A, you want to find V. There's no S here. Okay, so the one that no S, there are only one equation. So the first equation. So use that equation. V equals U plus AT. Okay, show the substitution. U0, A2, T5. Then simplify, you will get V equals 10 meters second negative 2. The unit must be written correctly. Okay, so you have the answer for final velocity. Okay, example 2. As a sport car moves along a straight track, its velocity is 40. After 3 seconds, the sport car reached 50. The velocity reached 50 meters per second. Calculate displacement. Okay, now we want to list down all the information given. So we have initial velocity u, 40 meters second negative 1. Final velocity v, 50 meters second negative 2. Time taken 3 seconds. We want to find displacement. So s equals to half u plus vt. In this one, you can see there's no a. We want to find uvts. So there is the second equation, s equals to half u plus vt. So you just substitute all the values, then you get s equals to 135 meter. Okay. Okay, the third example. An athlete starts his run from rest, achieve maximum velocity after accelerating uniformly for 8 seconds. If displacement 40 meter, determine his acceleration. So you can list down first. Start from rest, straight away write down u equals to 0 meter second negative 1. Time taken 8 seconds. Displacement 40 meter. Acceleration, you want to find it. So in this question, there's no v. We want to find acceleration. Okay, so use the third formula, this one. S equals to ut plus half at squared. Okay, because you want to find a. Okay, so you want to find a. We don't have v. So this is the the equation that's suitable to be used. So you substitute S for T, U0 T8 half A8 squared. We just mathematically solve it. So we get A equals 1.25 meter second to the power negative 2. Okay. Example 4. Maria rides a bicycle at velocity of 8 meter per second. She brakes suddenly and stops after distance of 2 meter. What is acceleration of Maria and her bicycle? So you have initial velocity U8, final 0 because stop, finally stop. So final velocity 0. Displacement S 2 meter, acceleration we want to find. Okay, so this one no mention about time taken. So the only equation without T is the fourth equation. Okay, equation number 4. So V square equals U square plus 2ES. Okay, so you substitute all the values, you get A equals negative 16 meters second negative 2. So what is the meaning of negative sign here? So negative value shows that Maria accelerates 16 meters second negative 2 in opposite direction to the motion of bicycle, or decelerate at 16 meters second negative 2. Okay, so this is how we solve this equation. So if your answer have a negative sign, better for you to write something to explain why it is negative. Okay, now we look at the formative practice 2.1 in your textbook. Number 1, explain difference between distance and displacement, speed and velocity. This one we have discussed earlier about definition. So you can look at the definition of distance, displacement, speed and velocity. You can write also in table form to show the difference. Okay, so for part A, you can write down in terms of its definition. For example, distance is length of route travel, and displacement is distance traveled in a specified direction. Distance is scalar quantity, while displacement is a vector quantity. Okay, and then B about speed and velocity. Speed is rate of distance travel and velocity is rate of displacement. Speed is scalar quantity, while velocity is vector quantity. Okay, so this one you can refer to the definition of the distance, displacement, speed and velocity. Okay, number 2, a car moving along a straight road at velocity of 30 meter per second reduces its velocity at a constant rate until stop after 5 seconds. What is acceleration of the car? Okay, so first you can list down all the information. What we can see from here, initial velocity 30 meter second negative 2. Stop after 5 seconds. The word stop means final velocity 0. Time taken 5 seconds. We want to find acceleration. Okay, you can see no mention about S, distance of displacement. So this one involve the first equation only. We are going to use the first equation of linear motion. Okay, so V equals U plus AT. Final velocity 0, initial 30, acceleration A, time 5. So you solve for acceleration, you get A equals negative 6 meters second negative 2. So what we can say about the negative sign here, meaning the car accelerate at 6 meters second negative 2 in opposite direction. Okay. Okay, number 3, Aina rides a smart personal transporter at Perdana Botanical Gardens. Transporter accelerates uniformly from velocity 1 to velocity 5 in 0.5 minutes. Calculate displacement. So you have the initial velocity, final velocity, time taken, and then you want to find displacement. No mention about A. So the equation that can be used is S equals to half U plus VT. Okay, so half, initial is 1, final 5, time taken 0.5 minutes needs to convert to second. So 0.5 times 60 you get here is 30 seconds. Okay, so be careful with the unit because we use SI unit here. so that the final answer will be SI unit. Thus, we get 90 meter. Okay, so this is all about linear motion equation. So for this part, you must be able to derive a equation of linear motion and then solve problem by using linear motion equation. So you do a lot of question on this so that you are familiar with the equation. Some of the equation will be given in the list during the exam. Okay, so I will stop here. Bye.